Yep.
Okay, welcome everybody. It is July 7th, 2015. This is our Tuesday team call, and our topic for tonight is the law of attraction. And
kind of green, but not.
What was that? Oh, somebody. Anyway.
Oh, it's Lauren. I can't get into Zoom, so I'm trying to get John to look at it, so I'm on the phone. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Welcome, Lauren. So we're going to talk about the law of attraction, and it's such a simple idea. The idea is that that when you have thoughts that are congruent and you're vibrating at the right level, you have the right level of consciousness, anything, and I mean anything you want in this world can be yours. And it just sounds so simple. But here's the thing. There's a bunch of stuff that gets in the way. So part of it is whether you believe that at all or not, but I think a really big part of what gets in the way is we've actually been taught that information and hard work is more important than anything else. So if you're not doing well, go get some more information. Yes? Anybody else have that? You know, it's like we go to school for a whole bunch of years to get what? Information. So it makes sense that we think that information is the key. And we spend our entire lives building up a belief system, which oddly enough, the initials are BS. So our belief system, or BS, is everything that we've been taught. Everything. And that's how we see the world. And everybody has a slightly different belief system, although if you're born in the same country as somebody else, or you have the same ethnic heritage, you tend to share beliefs. But everybody on the planet has a slightly different belief system than everybody else. So no wonder why we see the world quite differently. And then on top of that BS system, that BS that's in there, we have a very busy, unhelpful mind. Anybody ever notice that you have some voices in there that don't necessarily say the kindest things to you? Or is that just me? Anybody else have one of those voices?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so, you know, David Wood recently posted on Facebook, if I had a friend that said the things to me that my own mind says to me, they wouldn't be my friend anymore. Yeah, we put up with a lot from that very unhelpful mind. And then on top of having that belief system and that unhelpful mind, we constantly are filling our head with junk. And by junk, I mean more information when we already have way too much information. We have to start unlearning things. Newspapers, television, particularly news. You know, we take in information, even just opinions on Facebook get, you know, stuck in our head, and oftentimes that information is not very helpful. It's just more junk that's in there. And we get tied up in a lot of turmoil, get tied up in a lot of vibrations that are not helpful to us. So, you know, helpful vibrations are things that bring us peace. So when we're happy, when we're joyful, when we're smiling, when we're in love, when we're being grateful, those are all things that are positive vibrations. Negative vibrations are when we're being hateful or judgmental or distrustful or you know, in fear. All those things are vibrations that are not moving us forward, those turmoil vibrations. So, and most of us have lots of practice and experience at being in turmoil. So we've got all these barriers to the law of attraction working. We've got all these things that get in our way, including not taking action. I know some people, when the movie The Secret came out, if you haven't seen it, it's worth looking for. The Secret is about the law of attraction. And one of my mentors, T. Harv Eker, used to say, you know, he said, I've sat for many hours meditating, and I've never had a bag of money drop in my lap even once. So having real thoughts is not enough, because we also have to take action. And I think there are a lot of people sitting around waiting for things to just show up without taking action. And then probably one of the biggest things is we have this false self, we have this ego self, we have this part of us that is not really looking out for our best interest. And you can feel that part of you anytime your pride gets hurt. Anytime you're feeling damaged. If somebody says something to you or doesn't acknowledge you, and there's a part of you saying, hey, you know, somebody should be paying attention to me because I'm whatever in this situation. Like, I'm the authority. I'm the person people should be listening to. How come they're dissing me? How come they're not respecting me? You know, that's that pride getting hurt is that part of us that is not our real self. It's not our spirit self, or it's not our higher self. It's that part of ourselves that gets caught up in words and pride feelings. And all those things are in the way of the law of attraction working. Does that make sense so far? Anybody have any questions?
I have something to comment on, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad that you brought up T. Harv Eker, because I actually am finishing a cycle where I signed up with his life makeover coaching program a while back. And one of the things that I'm learning is that, like you said, we can wish for many things to come to us, but if we don't put forth the effort ourselves, it's not just going to fall in our lap. And one thing that I've learned throughout this program is that it's so important to hold ourselves accountable when we make a commitment to ourselves, to follow through with it. So I'm really, he's amazing. I've learned so much through his program.
He is amazing. He is amazing. Yeah, good, and good points. Yes, we got to take action. We got to be responsible. We got to realize that whatever is in our life already is because you already are brilliant at the law of attraction. Whether you realize it or acknowledge it or not, that's how everything that's already in your life has already got there. So let's talk about the law of attraction. So we know there are already lots of barriers because we're not taught this in school. We're taught that information is king. But you know what? If that was true, think about it. The smartest people on the planet would be the richest people. The people that knew the most about isogenics would be the people that were making all the money. But, you know, have you ever met somebody who's brand new in isogenics, doesn't really know anything, and in no time at all, they're an executive and, you know, they're making 20, 30 cycles a week? Well, if you haven't met anybody like that, I have. I mean, it happens all the time in this business, that people who are just on fire, just excited. They don't know anything, but they're excited. They're making money. And there are other people that are busy, you know, studying the website and reading all about how to be an amazing network marketer, and, you know, they're still learning. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're ever going to be really successful. So there's got to be something more than just the information. And I'm not saying it has no place in it, but let's just for a moment assume that there's some other way to get the things into our lives that we want. So the law of attraction, to me, it all starts, number one is know what you want. I mean, how can you get anywhere unless you know where you're going? How can you ask for something to show up if you don't know what it is? So there's a number of ways to know what you want. One of the ways is to visualize it. So even if you just take a moment right now, just close your eyes for a second and think of like 2 or 3 things that you would love to have show up in your life that aren't there right now. It could be an amazing relationship. It could be something around money, or a new vehicle, or a different home, or a new rank advancement in isogenics. Just 2 or 3 things. Cool. Anybody not have something? At least one thing? Anybody not? So everybody has something, yes? Hands up?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Wow, how hard was that? That took what, 2 minutes? So clearly you guys can visualize things that you would love to attract into your life. So what are some other ways to be in the place of knowing what you want? So you can visualize it. What else can you do? Anybody?
Have faith.
Write it down.
Write it down. Yes, of course, have faith. I'll get to faith a little later on. But yeah, write it down. You know, you visualize it, then write it down. And don't just write it down in one place. Write yourself like a zillion notes and put them everywhere. You know, put a little sticky in your suitcase. So the next time you go traveling, all of a sudden, oh yeah, I remember asking for that. You know, put it in your briefcase so that when you're opening something up, all of a sudden there it is. Put it in a scribbler you use once in a while. Write it on a sheet and throw it under the bed. How often do you go under there? Put it on your mirror. You know, put it in your iPad, your iPod, your iPhone, your other phone, your Android phone, your tablet. Put it everywhere. Write down, visualize it first, figure out what it is that you want, and then make notes and put them everywhere. And then get in the habit of starting your day by thinking about what it is that you want to have. You know, you can be in the shower, and when it gets all full of condensation, you can actually, you know, write on the shower wall, I want this. Or just make a list, or on your foggy mirror in the bathroom in the morning when you have your shower. I mean, get creative. You can email it, write it out and email it to a friend. Or I didn't get a chance to try this, I meant to, but there's a website called futureme.org. And you can actually set it up so you can send an email and then it comes back to you, futureme.org. So I'm going to try that myself later. I meant to try it before the call tonight, but we can all try it together, futureme.org. And you can send an email with what you want to attract to you. Thinking about it, just thinking about it, but let's make the thinking about it even more special. Figure out what you want and then think about it for about 5 minutes in a row, and think about it while you're playing your favorite music. Something that's current that you might hear on the radio when you're driving around, because the cool thing is the next time you hear that song, you'll remember being in this happy place visualizing what it is that you want to show up in your life. And every time that song comes on, you go, oh yeah, I remember doing that. And then speak it. Speak it out loud. A great exercise for speaking it is find somebody else who's willing to play this game. And for 10 minutes each, set a timer and talk about what you want to show up as if it's already here, as if you already have it. For 10 minutes, everything about I have, I am. And none of this I want. Because when you focus on I want, you're focusing on what you don't have.
Oh.
So no I want, everything is I have or I am. And do it for 10 minutes and then switch off and let your partner do it for 10 minutes. So you can do this on Skype. You can do it with somebody in person. You can find somebody else who was on the call tonight. Just have fun with it. But to actually say it out loud, there is so much power in speaking something, because we get to feel it in our bodies with the timbre of our voice, and you get to hear it with your ears. And if you're doing it in front of somebody, it gets to be witnessed. Power in that. So number one is know what you want. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to be really connected to know what you want. Number two is to believe it and ask for it. You have to believe it. You have to believe that this works. You have to believe that you're worthy. You have to believe that you're worthy of whatever it is that you're asking for. And you have to believe that you deserve it. You have to believe that you deserve it. And for an awful lot of us, one of the things that runs from that unhelpful voice is, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I don't deserve it. You need to reprogram that. So, a matter of fact, everybody, right now, a couple of minutes ago, you were just visualizing a few things that you would like to have show up in your life. So I want everybody to think of one thing. Just one thing that you were just thinking about, or something new that you'd like to have show up in your life. And I'm going to count. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then all at the same time, I want us all to say out loud, I deserve whatever it is. But we're all going to say it at the same time. So nobody's really going to hear what anybody else says. But I want you to hear what you want to deserve out loud. So is everybody willing to play? Yes? Anyone not willing to play?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. I want you to fix in your mind what it is you're going to ask for. And you're going to say, I deserve, and then whatever it is. You ready? 1, 2, 3. I deserve to be executive. All at the same time, everybody.
Deserve a Mercedes-Benz.
Deserve to be an executive.
Beautiful. I know, you're laughing and it's fun, but you know what? When you say it in the quiet moments, there's an awful lot of us that have a voice that's disagreeing with us. So I want you to get in the habit of saying, I deserve whatever it is, because you do, yes?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So believe it, learn to ask for it, feel like you deserve it, say it out loud, and to really feel in your body that it's good for you to have what you desire. Think about that. It's good for you to have what you desire. And this planet is abundant. There's enough for everybody to have what they desire. So you deserve to have what you desire. So if you guys are ready to play another little game, I'm just going to get you to close your eyes in a moment. When I say now, I'm going to get you to close your eyes, and I'm going to do an exercise on worthiness and deserving around money. Money's one of those things for a lot of us, it brings up stuff. It brings up that little mind that has a differing opinion to what we'd really like to have show up in our lives. So I'm going to do an exercise. So what I'm going to do is, while your eyes are closed, I'm just going to say out an amount of money. I'm going to say, I am earning whatever the amount is. And I just want you to repeat it in your head. You can do it quietly. I want you to repeat the amount in your head. And then I want you to just think about having that amount of money coming into you and how you would spend it. Just really quickly, just a couple of things for each amount. And I'm going to move fairly quickly. And I just want you to feel the amount in your body. It's like, I'm earning this amount. Yep, this is what I would do with it. And then I'm going to go on to another amount. And it's like, yep, I'm earning that amount. This is what I would do with it. Everybody clear? Anybody have any questions? Okay, now, what may happen to you is I may get to an amount of money where when you say, I'm earning this amount of money, your eyes suddenly pop open and your whole system goes, oh my God, no, I'm not. Like, I can't even imagine earning that. So that's okay. If that happens to you, just stay with the rest of the process. Make a little note of what amount of money it was that caused you to not be able to really feel that you were earning that. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Okay, so I'll start and I'll make it easy to start with. So everybody close your eyes. I am earning $25,000. Just say that back quietly in your head. I'm earning $25,000. How do you feel about that? You know, you may feel like, oh my goodness, that's not nearly enough for me. I deserve way more. That's great. That's great. Okay. I am earning $50,000. So just say it to yourself. I'm earning $50,000. How does that feel? I am earning $75,000. Just say that. I'm earning $75,000. How does that feel? Can you imagine spending that amount of money? I am earning $100,000. Say it to yourself. Imagine having that amount of money, spending that amount of money. I am earning $150,000. Imagine having that amount of money. Imagine spending it. If your eyes pop open, write it down. I am earning $200,000. Imagine having that amount of money. Imagine spending that. What would you spend it on? I am earning $250,000. I am earning $300,000. Imagine you're earning that. Get to spend it on whatever you'd like. What would you spend it on? I am earning $400,000. Imagine earning that. Imagine spending that. What would you do with it? I am earning $500,000. Imagine earning that you're actually earning $500,000. How would you spend it? What would you spend it on? I am earning $750,000. Can you still feel that? Is that still yours? Is that still what you deserve? What you're worthy?
No, but it just maxed out.
Yeah. Scary.
I am earning $1 million a year. Breathe into that. I am earning $1 million a year. How would I spend it? That's like over $80,000 a month. I deserve that. Am I worthy of that? Can I really feel that?
Yes.
Okay, everybody take a deep breath in, open your eyes. Beautiful, well done. Anybody pop out of that? Maybe even more than once. It's like, no, I can make this. I can close my eyes again and hang in there. Anybody have a number that kind of made them go, oh, I'm not so sure I deserve that?
Me, anything under $150,000 was not where I felt like that I deserve.
Excellent.
I definitely deserve more than that.
Beautiful. Good. Good to notice how you feel on both sides. Cool. And bigger numbers was still good?
For me, it wasn't about not deserving, but it was having a hard time envisioning being able
Having
to
the money.
spend the money or just having it.
Yes.
I feel like I still deserve it, but I can't visualize it. And it was at about 500, 750
Yes.
in there where I was like, but I wouldn't like, but why?
Cool. Good
It's
notice.
just that, for me, that was, it wasn't that I didn't deserve it. It was just, but I don't need it. I don't know if that makes sense. It was just, that's where it just seemed unrealistic to me, but not that I don't deserve it.
I feel the same way, Chelsea. That's how I reacted too. I believe I deserve it, but I just can't visualize having that much. And my gosh.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a bad thing or like if that might work against me because then I've got this mental block, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I think it's a great exercise to actually imagine each, some of those amounts, the bigger amounts where you started to go, wow, I don't know what I would do with that. Figure out what you do with it. Because if you don't have a need for it, if you don't have a want for it, it's never going to show up. So we can talk about, being an Isogenics millionaire or making $1 million a year. We have people making more than that in Isogenics, but, it's not going to be one of us until we're really clear, what would we do with that? What would our purpose for that be? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if there was a number where, you could kind of talk yourself into worthy and deserving because we're on this great call and everything's wonderful, but in your quiet moments, if you throw that number out to yourself, there's going to be part of you going, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, that's a nice number, but I don't think I could do that. I never have done that, so right? We have those thoughts. It's like, wow, if I've never made 200,000, how can I imagine making 3 or 4 or 5? Well, we can imagine it. We just have to work at it. So some new things to work on in terms of your belief system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all
I
for
think
playing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, I think so often, I think everybody would agree that I think the world we live in, we've so often programmed into accepting that where there are limitations placed on where we think we can go or how much we think we can earn. So when you ask us to visualize it, it's like, well, nobody I know is doing that or this and that. So all these things come into your head. So you can't even process $500,000 or maybe more having that much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, yeah, we're raised to be mediocre.
Exactly.
Yes. Actually, we strive to be mediocre. I don't think we're raised even to be mediocre. We have to rise above what we're taught to become mediocre. Anyway, awesome. Okay, so the first one was know what you want. The second one was believe it and ask for it. The third one is expect it. Just expect it. Like, it sounds so simple, but if I believe it and I'm asking for it, I should just expect it. And I'm going to add another word to it. Expect it unreasonably. Expect it unreasonably. And I'll tell you why I say unreasonably, because the reason part of it is our mind. Our mind is the reason part. It wants to reason it out. It wants to figure out, well, how is that going to happen? What exactly are the steps? What are the places where this is going to show up for me? And yet we all know that there are, so many stories of success that have nothing to do with what you plan. It's what happens because somebody really wants something. Whether it's, I remember Eckhart Tolle talking about writing his famous book, and he was pretty much ready to give up. He'd been working on writing without an income for quite a while, and he won a $10,000 lottery. And it was enough to keep him going until he finished his book, which became a million copy bestseller, and that's been his life ever since. So, it's not about figuring it out. So unreasonably. The unreasonably is with your spirit, with your heart, with your beingness, not your mind. Number 4, be, think, do. This is the part that starts to settle in, reprogramming the belief systems, unwinding your mind, unlearning what you've learned, creating some new belief systems for your system.
Did you say be?
Be?
Did you say think or think?
I said think with a K.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So be, think, do.
Yeah.
So be, think, do. Be positive and creative. For a lot of us, sort of a natural resting point has become negative and reactive. Something happens, we react. We react from our belief system. Negative is, I mean, yes, there are lots of people putting, fuzzy animals on Facebook and, trying to change it to a happier place. And every once in a while, you'll pick up a newspaper or watch a news story and it'll be a happy story. But, an awful lot of what pops into our experience is negative stuff. Yes? So we got to work extra hard at being positive and being creative. Being in our creative juices is about not sitting in one of the lower vibrations, but being in a high vibration. Creativity is a very, very high vibration. Being positive is a very high vibration, and we attract what we're vibrating at. Change I can't, which pops into our heads a lot, I can't, or somebody else says I can't. Change it to what can I do? Let go of the I can't and change it to the what can I do? What is one small step? One small thing I could do here. So next time somebody says to you, I can't, just say, well, what can you do? What's one small step you could take towards getting what you actually want, as opposed to the just, I can't? And complaints, whether it's from your own mind or somebody you're having a conversation with, instead of being in the complaint mode, be in the what is the solution? Next time somebody complains about your government, ask them, so what's the solution? It becomes a very different conversation really quickly, yes?
Yes.
Yep. Very much. Yep.
Yeah. And same with our own mind. When our own mind is complaining about things not being the way we want them, it's like, so what's the solution? Don't wallow in the complaints. They're not helpful. They're not useful. And please stay away from the negative input. I don't care if it's the newspaper or the TV news or, you've got a Facebook friend that posts, stuff that is not helpful to you, or your mother-in-law. Wherever the negativity is coming from, just let it go. I have the most wonderful mother-in-law in the world, so that's not my challenge. But, whatever it is, I mean, be willing to let it go. I was just starting to sort of come around to this idea, and I had a teacher, his name was Bijan. And he used to go to the gym every day, And he said he wandered into the gym one day, and he said there was this little circle of men, and they were talking. And he said they were talking about politics. And they called him over, and they asked him a question about politics, and he just looked at them, and he said, hold that thought. And then he walked away and did his workout. And then he was on his way out the door, and they were still sitting there. He said, Bajan, you never came back. He said, yes, and carried on. And I just thought, hold that thought. Just hold that thought. You just hold it as long as you like, because I'm not going there. Just hold that thought. Anyway.
That's hilarious.
So be, think, do is the action step. That's the thing that that Jamie was talking about, that piece that Harv was saying that's different than just sitting waiting for something to show up. I mean, the law of attraction, it kind of sounds like, maybe it'll just show up. But if you think of it more like a magnet, I mean, if you want a nail to show up on your magnet, you kind of have to move the magnet somewhere in some vague direction of where there might be nails, yes? You can't just, stand in the middle, stand on a sandy beach or in the middle of the ocean holding up a magnet and go, okay, where's the nail? No, you gotta move towards what it is you want, and you gotta do it by being in the right energy and thinking the right way, unwinding your mind and doing the things that are about the one small step. So, know what you want, believe it and ask for it, expect it unreasonably, be, think, do. And number 5 is be happy and be grateful.
Yes, yeah, that's great.
Be happy and let your face know it. Like, smile. Smile. Let your face know you're happy. Wander around with a big smile on your face. Say hello to people. Be the first one that says hello. Say hello to strangers. Not because you expect them to say hello or smile at you, just because it's fun for you to do it. And if they smile or say hello, that's just a bonus. Be the one that's happy and smiling and friendly and saying hello. And, be happy because everything that's already in your life is the things that you get to be happy about, just the way things are. As you're asking for more, or you're asking for things to be different, or you're asking for some new experiences, you can ask for all of that and still be happy with your life exactly the way it is. Yes?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when I first heard that, it sounded a little counterintuitive, but
I think one of the challenges
Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, James, that I think, so often, we're almost like he's talk about the programming and trying to unlearn it. Procrastination is often so, it's a comfort zone sometimes. We procrastinate, and we have to push past that and just get into action mode. It's different mindset.
Yeah, and be in action mode from a place of happy. I think a lot of us have been taught to be discontent in our asking for something else. But, ask for something else, not because it will make you happy. You're already happy. Ask for something else because you just want it. Because you want to have that experience. Because that would bring some joy to your life. But you're already happy. I think it's that unhealthy part of us, that ego part, that false self that says, I'll be happy when I get whatever the thing is. And then as soon as I get it, it's already going, oh yeah, but when I get that next thing, that's not it. That was a mistake. That's not the thing. That's how we went from everybody's happy with a 19-inch TV at home, and then it was a 25-inch TV, and then it was a 32-inch TV.
Yeah, it's true.
46-inch TV, and then it was 50, 60, 70, 80, right? It's like, why? I buy the 32-inch, and as soon as I have it, I look at it and go, yeah, I thought that would make me happy, but that's not it. I got to get the 50-inch. And just to use that as an example, but there's so many things that it feels like we've been programmed to be in that space. So I'm saying be happy with what you have while you're asking for something even better. And allow the universe to bring you something even better than what you're asking for. Because often we limit ourselves. So, let's say you have no TV, or you have a small TV, and a really large TV would make you happy. And you think the biggest that you're willing to feel worthy or deserving about is a 50-inch. So ask for that or something even better. Ask for 2-star or something even better this year. Ask for 100,000 a year or something even better. Let the universe decide what the even better is, because maybe you're just not thinking big enough. Yes? Cool. So be happy.
Yes.
And you have to be happy because you created everything that you've got. Everything, all of it, you already created. That's you in the law of attraction already. So be happy. Look around at everything and go, wow, I did this. I created this. I brought this into my life. That proves that I can bring other things as long as I'm being conscious about them. And be grateful. Start and end every day with gratitude. So be happy, and gratitude helps you be happy, because you get to look at your life and go, wow, I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for sunshine. I'm so grateful that I have eyes to see all of your beautiful smiling faces. I am so glad that I have ears that I can hear you with. I'm so glad that I have a nose, but I can't smell you. Like, be grateful for everything. Be grateful. And when those barriers come up, when the belief systems get in our way, when that busy, unhelpful mind is in our space, when we're in turmoil, when there's stuff that's just getting in our way, then I'm going to teach you something that helps. So if everybody's ready, I need you to just put down, pens or anything. I want you to, if you're right-handed, I want you to pick up your right hand and put it in front of your face. And if you're left-handed, put your left hand in. So just take it, bend it so it's pointing towards you. Okay? You can do that now. Put your hand right in front of your face so it's pointing right at you. And next time one of those crazy, unsupportive, unhelpful thoughts comes up, I want you to just look at your hand as if it's your own mind that's saying whatever it's saying to you, and say, thank you for sharing. I am up to something different. So repeat after me. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm up to something different.
Sharing.
I'm up to something
I'm up
different.
to something different.
Thank you for sharing. I'm up to something different.
Okay, you can write that down now if you want. Thank you for sharing. I'm up to something different. That does two things. Number one, it acknowledges that that voice is not going away. I'm sorry. I have to tell you that. I mean, you can make it a little quieter and you can make it not show up so often, but that little voice is part of our primitive brain system that's about keeping us safe. So it comes up with all sorts of warnings. Oh my goodness, don't do that. Don't go there. That's not safe. Don't do that. Don't cross the street. Don't go so fast. Don't eat so much. You gotta eat more, drink less, breathe faster, breathe slower.
Oh, jeez.
You're in trouble. That voice is always there. So when it's coming up and it's in the way, you just go, thank you for sharing, because sometimes it is valuable. I mean, you're getting ready to step out onto the street and some part of your little brain says, don't step out onto the street. And you realize that, there's a bus zooming by or a taxi, or you would have got squashed. So, you don't want it to go away. It's like, thank you for sharing, but I'm up to something different, which gets to acknowledge that you have choice, that you actually have decided something just for you.
Now, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Should we say that to somebody? Should we say that to someone who may make a negative comment towards us about whatever we're doing in our lives?
Yeah, I would say it quietly in my head, unless it's somebody you don't want in your life anymore. Yeah, you know what? Everybody's in their own space, and I don't have to make somebody else wrong for me to be right, if that makes any sense. And I don't even need to be right. I just need to be up to something for me. So, thank you for sharing. I mean, I would probably leave it there. In the out loud part, thank you for sharing. I mean, I get you have an opinion. You have some thoughts. Thank you for sharing. And then inside, it's like I'm up to something different. Now, if it's somebody you want to bring along on the journey, you can start slowly, you know, working them towards the idea of maybe there's something else to be up to. You know, part of that is the what's the solution? You know, instead of the complaining, it's so what's the solution? You know, we can start moving people towards some different thought processes. But you know what? This is more just for you. And yes, you don't always have to put your hand in front of your face. It's just a really good visual. But you know, basically, that's what you're doing. You're talking to a part of you, and just thanking it for being there, and just telling yourself you're up to something different. When there was an exercise I did with Harv, we had about 200 people in a room, and he had us all get up and wander around and go up to as many people as we could, preferably new people. And we said out loud, I love you, and I respect you, and I don't give an F what you think about me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Oh, I'm writing that down.
Yes. Harv would
Say
say
that again.
I love you, and I respect you.
You broke up.
I don't give a frick what you think about me. Insert whatever F word you want there. And actually, for a lot of people, even just using an F word was about as challenging as they could get. People couldn't look other people in the eye. They couldn't say it. People would go, I love you and I respect you. And you're like, what? It's like, no. Come on, out loud. And I'm not saying go around saying that to people, but, you know, at some level, that's the attitude. You know, love everybody, respect everybody for who they are and where they are and what they're thinking. And who cares what they think about you? Like, who cares? It's not your business. Don't care about what they think about you. Yeah. Don't care what they think about what you're up to. You're up to something different. And at some point, they may get you're up to something different and want to join you because they realize that what they're up to isn't really working for them. Or they may never. Or they may never. Who cares? I mean, not who cares in a, you know, rude, obnoxious, you know, unfeeling way, but who cares in the, it's not stopping me from having the life that I deserve, that I'm worthy of, that I want. Because you do deserve it. Like each and every one of you, I look at you and I just think you already are helping so many people, and you already are out there risking all sorts of parts of who you think you are or have been up till now. You know, because there's a part when we engage with somebody else, we're risking them talking to that part of us that's not really our real self or a helpful self anyway, but that ego self, we're risking it being damaged. But the truth is, who we are inside, that higher self, that spiritual self, can't be damaged. Not possible. I don't care how many no's, how many people disagree with you, how many people tell you you're nuts, how many people tell you you should be doing what they're doing because they're right. Doesn't matter. That part of you can never be damaged. You're perfect just the way you are. There's nothing to be fixed. You just get to go out into the world and create the happy, joyful life that you deserve. And you actually get to think about, what do I want that to look like? What do I want to have in it? What do I want to experience? Just because you want to. Because why not? You know, I like to think of the world, my world, because, you know, we each live in our very own world. Everybody else is just the, cast of characters that helps us play our role. I like to think of the world as like a big amusement park. Anybody ever been to like Disneyland or Disney World or, I don't know, Legoland, anything like that? You know, there's rides, there's the rides we love to go on, the rides that we're scared of, the rides we hate, you know, the rides we stand in line all day to go and participate in, and we scream and puke and yell, and then we get back in the line and go do it again. Or the ones that we just love, that we smile and laugh and run down and are in absolute blissful joy. But, you know, we're picking which ride we go on. And then we decide whether we love it or hate it or want to do it again. And that's what your life is. It's a big amusement park, and you're choosing the rides. So whatever you want to feel today. You know, you want to scream in oh my goodness, you know, exhilarating rush, then go do that. You know, jump out of an airplane with a parachute. If you want to just be in this heart open, connected space, then, you know, sit down with somebody you love and just stare into their eyes without words for 10 minutes. Like, you get to pick what life looks like, whatever it is that you want. Anything. Anything. That's the law of attraction. Anything is available to you. We just got to unwind the mind, get rid of some BS, some belief systems, and start paying attention to what's going on in there. And when it's not helpful, you know, ask, what can I do instead of what can't I do? What is the one small step that I can take today? What is it that my, you know, little voice is saying that's not working for me? You know, thank you for sharing. I'm up to something different. And each and every one of you, honestly, is up to something different. I don't know if you've looked around and noticed, but you guys are the ones that are up to something different.
Yep.
You're already doing it. Just do it on purpose now. Do it with intention now. I think that's probably enough for us to absorb. That was a lot. I want to thank you for playing along and paying attention. And does anybody have any questions about anything?
I just have a takeaway that what you touched on a little bit earlier, but the two big things that I wrote down is like quotes that, you know, I've read before and I've seen before, but it's always nice to get a refresher and hear it, you know, especially with our team and having everybody on the call. And I like the quote, expand your belief system, and you know, just believe outside of the box where you currently are, and then unlearn what you've learned, be positive and creative. Those are two things that, you know, really touched on, you know, changing my mentality on acting on my goals instead of hoping for them and, you know, waiting for them, you know. And that's really what I've been doing a lot lately, and changing things up. And I think those really touch especially on what I've been working towards recently. So those were good reminders.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. Anything else anybody wants to share that they're taking away with them tonight?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, it's not quite a takeaway, I guess, but I always like hearing with like the negative self-talk and that we touched on earlier. I have to battle that a lot. So so that stuff always really, like, just talking about that and getting new tips and tricks always really helps me. And so I just it kind of to go hand in hand. At the Australian celebration, Peter Kelly did a really good talk about the voice versus the noise. It's an hour long, but it was really good, and it's similar to what James went over with us today too. But I just for people who weren't with us at that point yet, I just wanted to let you know about it because it's definitely worth looking into as well, just to go further into that.
Excellent. Thanks, Chelsea.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Chelsea. I was going to say I battle, you know, the internal dialogue all the time too, right? So it's just you have to constantly push yourself through those uncomfortable zones. And you know, it's kind of funny, James. You were talking about, you know, unlearning what you've learned, kind of thing. And it's probably a funny story, but the first time I ever heard unlearn what you've learned was probably as a kid. Star Wars with Yoda said that first. And it's funny how it has all this relevance many years down the road. It still applies. You have to unlearn what you've learned. You have to. You're going to be something extraordinary.
Well said, Paul. Thank you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyone else with a takeaway?
I have something to share, please.
Sure, absolutely.
One of the books I'm currently reading is by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. And something that she talks about is these belief systems that we feed into, and, you know, changing that way of thinking. But something that she has in there is we all have a child inside of us, and we all need to be very gentle and compassionate with ourselves and not to beat ourselves up if we make a mistake, and just to grow and learn from it. So I know earlier you had mentioned something about, you know, just not listening to that negative talk. So it's just remembering that we all have a child inside of us and speaking to ourselves as though we're speaking to a child.
Yes.
So,
I actually believe that we're all still children. We're just in, you know, like big person clothing.
No, well said, Jamie. Well said. I think
Thank you.
that's it's so very true that I've been reading some of the Robert Kiyosaki in the last year or so. That's exactly what I'm learning. That we're so taught in school: get straight A's, don't make mistakes, be perfect. And it's to get where you want to in life, you have to embrace mistakes, and it's okay. It's not. There's nothing wrong with failure it's all how you take it and learning from it. Right? So.
Anyone else that hasn't shared? Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that that I've been working on is reframing the way I say things that I want. So, and this goes along with the law of attraction. Actually, I just finished reading this book, which is really great.
Excellent book. Yes, Michael.
And in it, he talks about changing the way that you word what it is you want. So I'm in the process of having an abundant lifestyle. I'm in the process of becoming a crystal executive, and when you say it that way, it's the truth. You're in the process of working through it. So your mind perceives it as being true, and it erases the doubt. So the negativity goes away. And I really like that. So I've been trying to incorporate that into everything I do.
Yeah, I love that, Jamie, and it's a good reminder that the being in the I want is just telling you what you don't have. Right?
Like
so don't go there. I have it. It's on its way. Yeah, it's in process. I'm in process. Beautiful. Thank you. Gina or Lauren, before we wrap up? Gina, you're muted if you don't know that.
I've been the last month really into the law of attraction stuff, and I cannot tell you
Are you serious?